All right. Let's get into it. Welcome back. I'm Eli, the Marfan homie. Welcome to another episode, another podcast episode, another day in the life, another day in the life. Well, I hope everything's been going well. I'm seeming mighty chipper today, partially because I just want to be happy. So yeah, choosing happiness. But again, yes, welcome to the podcast. It's Marfan Homie, where we just talk about the day in the life with a person that has Marfans. I might be looking over to my right a little bit if you're watching on YouTube, just because I got the window open, trying to let some sunlight in and stuff like that. Once again, we're in the new studio. I'm gonna keep calling it the new studio until it becomes the studio. And when we move, it will be called the old studio. So that's how that's going to go. Um, so today's topic, and again, this might go to anyone traveling, but I know with people that have illnesses, deformities, and just things that cause for a little bit of extra time. Um, I know that you comfortability, being comfortable in your own skin, being comfortable around other people, being comfortable just traveling and being comfortable whenever you're doing something is a big and great thing. So with that being said, today's episode is going to cover going on trips. Today's episode is brought to you by sadly I'm not sponsored, just by me, so I do all this myself. Um but so this episode is going on trips. Over the years, I've had to just like figure out what works for me. I wish it didn't take so long, but I think at the end of the day, all of this is pretty much a growing and going process. So it's ongoing, and you're learning from everything. And like with the most recent trip I went on, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do that next time. Forgot what it is at this point, but hopefully I'll remember it next time I'm getting ready to go somewhere. But like I said, today's episode is I keep wanting to say brought to you by, but is about going on trips. So what's happened since? So since the last episode or the last time we spoke to each other, unemployment was a topic of conversation. Still facing that today. Hopefully by the time you hear this, again, I will be gainfully employed. At this point in time, it's on the podcast, so whoever listens. So I can actually say there's no shame in my game. I'm a little disappointed that I haven't found a job just this quick or just yet, but things are going to happen sooner than later, and I'm standing on that. I'm standing on something's gonna happen sooner than later. So again, that's happening. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Like I said, my grandma's 95th, so that was a good thing. So again, that's what even like quote unquote sparked this episode, or just like even last year, like again while I was taking the hiatus last year, I noticed a couple things while we were traveling. I'm just like, man, like for one, I'm gonna get into it. TSA pre, knock that off the list for sure. It makes everything so much easier. Um, but what else has happened since? Couple interviews, couple phone calls, a lot of applications. Haven't stopped that grind. Again, can't stop the grind until you find something. And even when you find something, you got to keep applying because you never know with anybody these days. Um, the only thing that's safe and secure, guaranteed, is your opportunity to grow and get something else. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm not a philosopher or anything. So what's next? What's next is new equipment. So I've actually made the decision to try to get some new equipment. Because again, for one, I don't want to be this close to the mic, and two, I know that there's better stuff out there. So again, I'm gonna opt to get some better things just to give you a better quality of podcasting, a better quality of show. And so yeah, might get another mic stand and all types of stuff. So a lot of things are going to be changing as I move forward with the podcast. As again, there's so much topics, there's so many people, and again, if you are listening, reach out to me. We can get you on the podcast. We can use a little video conferencing tool or whatever the case may be, record the thing and get you up on here. So yeah, that's one thing for sure. What else is next? New podcast equipment. Again, getting a job. I got a couple self projects that I would like to complete before getting employment. So I'm gonna be working on those between this week and next week. Of course, record more episodes of the podcast. Oh gosh, you guys see my wiring on camera. This is why I need better equipment so I can have all this stuff not to be seen. But it's all good. You learn where you come from, and you come from where you learn from. I don't know, I just made that up. But so yeah, that's what's next. So let's get into it. And let's just applaud for transitioning to the meat of the podcast. Can't find it. There we go. But even then, I moved the whole storage unit yesterday. Honestly, within an hour. So it was a 5x10. It wasn't anything major or anything like that. But it was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But what the meat? So framing out the podcast, next couple of episodes. What? Wow, when did I write this? So yeah. Well, shoot, I just told you so. Framing out the podcast. Like I said, we do this stuff on the fly. I think that's what makes it authentic and stuff like that. So traveling with Marfans. That's what we're getting into. So again, over the years, so let's go back. My mom became a flight attendant when I was like in 4th or 5th grade. So like, I was flying before then, but like when she became a flight attendant, we went any and everywhere, basically New York and Jamaica. Only 2 places, honestly. But we went those places quite frequently, and then of course it's just like you have to like, it was so much. My mom would like make us wear shoes, not slippers or Crocs. She would like put us on a belt, so you have to take the belt off at security, and all those type of things. And I'm just like, man, this stuff sucks. So as I got older and started to travel by myself, I noticed again some of the things that I prefer. So sweatpants, sweatsuits, number 1. Crocs or slippers, number 2. And then like number 3, number 3 as I got older, late 20s, TSA prep. Again, I think it's on here, but we're definitely gonna get into it. But TSA pre, highly recommended. So again, traveling with Marfans, feet start to ache. So I haven't shown my feet on here. Quite conscious about my feet, but thing about my feet, they get swollen easy. They start to ache easy, and it's just like I can't take the pain. Can't take the pain, man. But I can't take the pain. So sometimes I know like before my ankle surgeries and before they did whatever they had to do, I would sometimes double up on socks if I was traveling. I would try to like take my shoes or my slippers off at the last minute, but again, TSA pre took care of all of it. So having TSA pre definitely helps if you have any sort of ailment or anything like that, because again, as long as you don't bring no trouble to them, they don't bring no trouble to you, you're able to keep your shoes on and things of that nature. So yeah, man, looking outside is very beautiful, but that's besides the point. 1 second. See, I did not switch that. Nobody calling. Should edit that part out, but I'm not. Let's see. Yeah, feet start to ache, not feeling comfortable in airports. So yeah, it's just like again. So like I didn't know this was actually common until my cousin told me somebody that they know had like they don't like walking on like bare surfaces either. They like walking with like slippers on and stuff. And again, I thought it was a me thing because again, bones are out of whack, surgeries, all types of things. But no, apparently they don't like walking on bare surfaces either. But again, I don't know. I have this thing in my head where I just feel like nobody's pain equates to mine. in certain areas or certain ways. So yeah, that's definitely something that I think about from time to time. But again, I didn't know that up until they told me. But so yeah, I guess like as soon as I go through the metal detector or the scan thing, I immediately, like, first things first, put on my shoes, or I don't move around too much because it can like bare surfaces unless it's like a rug or grass. And sometimes the grass doesn't even work, but if it's like just not the rug or my slippers, can't be caught walking on those surfaces at all. So to mitigate that, TSA pre, you keep your shoes on. You don't have to take off your belt. You don't even have to take off your watch these days on TSA pre, which is a great thing. Um, so yeah, again, so even with that, like the clothes that I started to wear in airports changed. I think my last time wearing like pants or jeans in an airport was probably like 2019 or 2020. Like either the trip to Jamaica or the trip to Atlanta, North Carolina. That I stopped that. I just because again, I think like even then, like I think my mom would tell us that we had to like dress a certain way because we were on her benefits. She didn't want us to make it look bad. Whew. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I'm glad I'm off her benefits because everybody enjoys free flights. However, that wasn't even a thing. Now that I think about it, like, man, there were so many people, like even flight attendants, they walk around in sweatpants. They just have their crew thing out. That's the whole thing. That's, man. But again, now it's my mom. She did whatever. We was on her benefits. We're her kids, so whatever. So, oh, there we go. Excursions on certain trips. So even with that, so again, just talking about traveling with Marfans, and of course, just like trying to keep up. So another aspect of traveling is just like what you're doing on the excuse me, what you're doing on the trip matters, and how you plan like for your trip and the clothes you take and stuff like that. Because I would even say that like excursions, I mean, again, I'm not a shorts wearing person, so I try to stay away from shorts. I'm not a hiking type of person. I've done it before. Not to say I'm not down to do it. I just know if there's a second option, a very fun option, I'm gonna want to choose the second option. So like hiking or four wheeling, I'm going four wheeling. Um, or hiking or just standing in the water, I'm standing in the water. Um, Stuff like that. But again, that allows you to plan for like again like one of the last trips we went on. Um, uh Hiking in some state park, national park, and it like transformed into water, and I didn't plan for the water, but luckily the hiking boots that I had were waterproof, and they did pretty good. They dried up actually pretty quick as well. Um so that was like planning and something that I had to do as far as that is concerned. So excursions, I would say honestly say just be prepared. So even again, over the time and over the years, I've I've been able to assess what I need. Like one time we went to the Grand Canyon and it was the icy, and I knew it was gonna be no, I had walking sticks, but I didn't know it was gonna be icy. I brought the walking sticks, of course, to hike up and down the Grand Canyon, but I didn't know it was gonna be icy. So therefore now I know in Scottsdale, Arizona, around March, there's still ice in the Grand Canyon. Buy ice picks for your shoes specifically, so you can get better grip and dig into the ground. So again, those are just some of the things that I've learned, just to plan ahead. So waterproof pants if you're going on that type of excursion, hiking shoes, and things like that. And again, I say all that to say you have to find what is comfortable for you. I think with the hiking shoes that I have, madly comfortable. If I double up on socks on those shoes, madly comfortable. I think with I have the hiking sticks, so I don't lose grip if I fall. Again, um, clothes, shoes, just basically anything getting ready for that trip or that outing, if you will. Even when I travel on like non-excursion days and stuff like that, I mean, again, as anybody else would, you plan, you bring your clothes that you know you're gonna wear for this particular day because you're traveling, so you don't have many choices unless you're rich and you go buy whatever you want. But that's not me, so I have to plan accordingly. Let's see. Uncomfortable shoes. Like I said, the shoes that so there was one instance that went to Duns River Falls in Jamaica, and if you don't know, those rocks are slippery. You slip on one of those rocks, that's your ASS. However, I believe the shoes that I had, they weren't cut out for that terrain. It's bad enough my feet aren't cut out for that terrain, but I did want to like hike it, but I just couldn't, so I opted out. But I know for next time we go to Jamaica, I'm going to buy these certain pair of shoes that have grip, comfort, and hopefully I'll be able to make it to the top and I won't be doing all the slipping and sliding. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. So again, comfortable shoes, even when it comes to the non-adventure outings. Like traveling, I have to like equate it to being comfortable. There's not one point during the trip that I want to feel uncomfortable, from my glasses down to my socks. Everything has to be comfortable, and that's like my highest recommendation for today's podcast. Brought to you by Eli's Tips of Comfortability. I gotta remain comfortable at all times. I have to remain comfortable. So being stuck between showing weaknesses and strengths. So this one. So I would say, again, we all have something. I believe that we all have something that we're all conscious about, like personally conscious about. Me is my ability to do things, and if I'm not able to do it in front of a large crowd, I start thinking that I'm weak and I start doubting myself and stuff like that. Very bad habit. Need to break out of it. Or very bad line of thought, because it doesn't happen often, because I don't go out that often with people that I do or do not know. However, that whole self-doubt thing starts to come up and show out. And I think, again, me being comfortable has a lot to do with my ability to do things, again, as it pertains to even walking. I have to be comfortable, and I have to, again, I don't like showing weakness. I don't like admitting that no, I'm not gonna do it, or admitting that I can't do it. So I've found that like, again, when we went hiking at the national park in Utah, I know what to bring for next time. With Duns River Falls, I know what shoes to wear for next time. Blue Fields in Jamaica, I know what swim shoes to wear for next time. So it's just like, or even climbing up Duns River Falls, I have to get shoes with grip and that are comfortable. I have a lot of shoes in mind, and I can't wait to test them out. But things like that. So again, I think there's a moment in there learning yourself and learning who you're with to be vulnerable. Not too many people like that space. Excuse me. Not too many people like that space. However, it's something to learn from. So again, I learned what I need to bring for next time. So there was a lesson in that. To elaborate more on it, sometimes you do know when you just have to call it quit. Like, I remember we was in that thing, them jagged rocks, even through my shoes sometimes, it was like, these rocks are like needles. They were just pointing up. But yeah, stuff like that. Higher elevations. I think this has to do with like Colorado. So as we know, with Marfan's heart condition, cardiovascular condition, and sometimes it can get harder to breathe. I would actually like to say for myself, when I did go to Colorado in that higher elevation, or I think a lot of other states or parks are definitely higher than the elevation I'm at now. I'm gonna say Colorado specifically, I didn't feel too much of a difference. I think that's because I was drinking like water for like 2 days straight, and as soon as I hopped in Uber, they offered water, I took it. So again, I think in those situations, remaining hydrated at all times definitely a key thing to do, so you don't feel as much fatigue because your body is not used to um, that. So yeah, that's something. Excuse me. That is something that I try to do very often. No, no, no. What am I saying? That is something that I try to take heed to when I do go out of town. Um, is that again hydration, elevation? Because again, even then I'm prone to nosebleeds. So the thinner the air, the drier the air, something might hit my nose, do a little pop, and then that's something else I got to worry about. And that's another thing that I should actually, after my tongue, actually should have wrote down about traveling is when my nose starts bleeding, what do I do? So typically, even when we were in New York, my nose started bleeding downtown. Luckily, going into a restaurant, when I was like, "Hey, where's the restaurant?" She pointed it to me, and I walked there. I think I was over that toilet for like a good 20 to 30 minutes. However, I had to assess it. I had to take care of it. So hydration and Vaseline is for all my nosebleeders out there. Rub that Vaseline in your nostrils and get the push in. If somebody thinks it's boogers, you blow it on them and tell you, "Hi, it's Vaseline." Don't do that. Pretty nasty, unsanitary. What is this? Seclusion. Um, Unfortunately, that does happen more than none. I wish it didn't happen. I wish I was comfortable in my own skin to the highest degree. I'm only comfortable in my own skin to the mid degree. Um, because again, insecurities do fall in. Um, so again, like at those points of weaknesses and versus strength, and you feel like you didn't do something that everybody else did. Sounds like kids on the playground, right? You want to be secluded. You want, well, as far as I do, I would want to be secluded. Don't bring me back until like 2 hours after, and I've had like 3 drinks in me, just to forget about whatever it is that I'm going through. Um, that hits a lot. That particular emotion does hit a lot. Like even then, there was an instance where I was in DC, and everybody else was on the scooters that were standing up. I couldn't quite find my balance. Transparency moment here. Couldn't quite find my balance on those scooters, so I opted for the scooter that was seated. And even with that one, it took me a while to find my balance and to like not have my legs out on the side rather than put them on the platform. But again, I think it's again, I don't know what it contributes to, but or what contributed to that. I just know that in those few moments that we were on the scooters, I did find myself to be a little embarrassed because I wasn't keeping up with everybody. So it's just like, maybe this scooter thing isn't for me. At this point, I just want to go back home and chill. Like that wasn't doing it. But yeah, and that leads to like again like a feeling of like that no one understands, and that's not true. I mean, again, if someone is proclaiming to be your friend, they definitely understand. They definitely want to not leave you out and make you want to be comfortable and feel comfortable about what everybody else is doing. So luckily, I do have a good set of people around me that when we do travel, we all do try to stay inclusive of what's going on. So yeah, that works out as well. So even then, I would say that try not to remain by yourself too long because you're gonna miss all the fun, right? If you miss all the fun, then what's the point of going on the trip? What's the point of going on the trip if you're gonna miss out on all the fun? So those are some questions that you have to ask yourself, and you have to put yourself in the position to say, this is what I'm gonna do for A, and this is what I'm gonna do for B, and this is what I'm gonna do for C. Honestly, you can't plan for everything, but have a plan for everything. Kind of contradictory, but if you get me, you get me. Can't plan for everything, but however, have a plan for everything. Medications. Wow, I really thought this through. Oh, even though that's not hard. I travel with my medications time to time. I didn't do it when we went to New York, but I got a ration. As we talked about on the last episode, I got to ration out my medication. Don't want too many things to I don't want to run out. So that's one thing. But again, hopefully that stay doesn't last long. But I need to take my medication. Um, what else? Oh my gosh, I didn't think this episode was gonna be this fast. But no medication. So again, I take my medication. I pack them in a little pouch. I pack them in my check-in suitcase. Again, 9 times out of 10, and that's the other thing. 9 times out of 10, depending on the trip, 9 times out of 10, if it's like something where I have to pack a bag and check it in, I'm bringing my medication. But if I don't, if it's like a carry-on bag trip, I don't bring my medication, and I'll probably take it. And that's again, I'm not a doctor. That's completely my fault. But I should definitely probably take it more than I try not to. So yeah, pack in a little bag, bring it with you, take it, put in the little Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday things if you bought one of those from Amazon. So yeah, not wanting to be that person that everyone looks down for me. Yeah, and this is something that I still suffer from, but this started back in like elementary or middle school. Jeez, I'm 30 now and I still live with it. So actually, I did say not wanting to be that person that everyone looks down or being the he can't do it guy. And again, that's not the best way to think about things. However, it's internally in there. I think as a book I just read, Atomic Habits, I have to do something to necessarily break that habit of just feeling like that. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna start. Yeah, the more trips I go on, again, if it's something that I just know I don't want to do, I'm not gonna do it. Have to sit it out with my bad cases of FOMO. I'm gonna just have to sit it out, and then the next one is like not feeling too bad about something you didn't do. At least you tried. I mean, again, effort counts for something. Participation trophies, right? Yeah. So with that being said, yeah, I mean, again, before I start wrapping this up, I think traveling and just like being around people that are considered your friends comes again with confidence. I mean, again, if you have an ailment, if you have a disfigurement or whatever the case may be, I think that having confidence is key. I mean, again, and that again, having confidence, all the things under that sum up to being comfortable, having what you need, not missing out on the things that you don't have, like and being and doing what you want to do during that time or that trip. Like again, one of the main objectives for the Grand Canyon trip was the Grand Canyon. One of the main objectives for the DC trip was to see the White House, to see the tower, to see the Lincoln Memorial. Although I didn't go up those steps because it's a hella steps. They make it look like a lot less on TV. So I would say confidence and everything that comes under that. Being prepared, planning, being comfortable, all that, your little bit of self-doubt. But if you do all those three things on top, that little bit of self-doubt that's on the bottom, it's definitely thought about less compared to everything else. Because again, now you're basically living in your own skin, in your own clothes, in your own shoes, and you're doing everything you have everything to make you comfortable. So why not give off? I'm comfortable and I can do whatever it takes. So yeah, that's my words of advice without doing the words of advice. And I actually have two sets of words of advice. If you listen to the past episode, I actually did a little mess up there. But first words of advice is, once again, for the people in the back, you can do anything you put your mind to and figure out how you can make traveling work for you and fun. Like I said, make it fun, make it comfortable, make it work for you. And again, think of all those scenarios and think of all those places that you do want to go on that trip, and you make it happen and you plan for everything that you want to do. So the next word of advice and this one says, take the trip. The only way you're going to figure out what you need for the next trip or how you'll feel is going on the trip. Trial and error. So again, let's sit on that trial and error. So that's how I figured out a lot of things how I need to travel. I traveled with my knee scooter once. No, actually, I didn't travel with my knee scooter. I traveled with a boot on. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably should have did the knee scooter. Should have healed more. But trial and error. That's how I figured out what to bring. Like from everything from how I pack is trial and error. So I've learned a lot over the years. So hats off to me, applaud me. So yeah, trial and error. So again, take that trip, have fun, is basically what they said. And so in conclusion, we have two of those too, right? So let me flip back. So traveling with individuals that didn't know or don't know I have Marfans can be daunting. However, you won't know what you need until you do it. So yeah. So I guess what I was trying to say there is at the time where I did not release the information of me having Marfan syndrome, it was a little bit more daunting. But now that I did tell quite a few people, if you haven't listened to the podcast, I do have Marfan syndrome. I mean, again, it doesn't really change anything. It's just like, oh, if he's tired, you got let him rest. Rather than what's wrong or whatever the case. So I guess if there's some type of ease in telling the folks around you that care about you. The other conclusion is the more trips I went on with friends or family, I know what I needed. I slowly started to figuring out what to bring. So yeah. So again, let people know what's going on with you. And again, trial and error, you figure out what you need to bring, and then ultimately you're going to have like the best experience. I would honestly say a lot of the most recent trips in the most recent years, I've had more fun because I was more prepared. And then other trips, as I was less prepared, so I practically had less fun. So I guess it pays to be prepared. So shout out. Shout out to everybody that ever went on a trip with me. I hope I wasn't too much. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope that my company was highly enjoyable. So how to reach me? Again, you know how to reach me. Comment. I think my email is on one of the is somewhere in the description. If not, my Instagram is definitely in the description. DM me and we can get to chopping it up. You could come on the podcast if you really want to, and then we can chop it up that way. You have a whole podcast episode revolved around answering questions about you. So subscribe, repost, bell. So again, subscribe to the podcast on all platforms. Repost if you hear something or you want somebody else to hear something, or just share it with somebody. And then of course the bell if you're on the YouTube, or I think a couple other listening apps have it too. Every time I do post something, you'll get notified. So go ahead and click that bell. Again, man, I just want traveling to be a peaceful experience, as I have learned that it can be a peaceful experience, especially for someone with Marfans and other ailments that stop them from thinking they can be comfortable. If I figured it out, I know a lot of other people can. And if you haven't figured it out, DM me. We can figure it out together. If it's anything from a wheelchair or knee scooter or whatever the case may be, or a boot, DM me, and I promise you we'll figure it out together. However, that is all I have for this particular episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the topic. I hope you guys got something out of the topic. If you didn't, let me know. I might need to switch it up so everybody that listens can get something out of it. If you did, let me know and tell me what you got out of it, and then I can go from there as well. However, till next time, till the next recording, have a good day, good week, good month, good year. If this is the last time you listen to me for the year. Yeah, man. This is Eli, the Marfan homie. Peace.